Good morning, Rabotai. Welcome back to Breakfast in the Class. Breakfast in the Class today is dedicated to loving memory Nishmat Aaron Yaakov ben Shmuel, Avi Moria Aaron Yaakov ben Shmuel, sponsored by his son Shimshon Deutscher. Also dedicated to loving memory and Nishmat their uncle Shimon Sion ben Yosef V'Simcha, sponsored by Shalom and his brother Daniel Hazan. The dedication is also in loving memory of Nishmat Haron's father, Moshe Haron ben Lulu, and Sandy's aunt, Louise Bat Gorgier, for the Askara, sponsored by Sandy and Haron Shochet. For Ashilema, for Eliyahu Shimon Bazar Fortuné, and for Adina Batzara, and for Levi ben Meta, and for the continued health of Chana Bat Simafega. Breakfast in the Class for this year is dedicated loving memory of Nishmat Ruth Orfali Bat Adela by her family. Also loving memory of Nishmat their grandfather Shalom ben Yosef Itamo, sponsored by Shalom and his brother Daniel Hazan. The learning for this week is dedicated as well by Shalom as a silver donor in loving memory of his grandfather and his uncle Shalom ben Yosef Itamo and Shimon Sion ben Yosef V'Simcha. Dedicated loving memory of Lou Jerome, Lou Nishmat Eliyahu ben Esther on his Askara, sponsored by his son Joey Jerome. And finally, loving memory of Nishmat Eliezer ben Haya for his Askara, sponsored by his grandson Idan Barazani. I also want to wish my dear friend Sumi Isaacson and his brother Levi and the entire family a nehama on the loss of their father, who was in charge of the KOA, Rabbi Isaacson, Rabbi Shlomo Isaacson. What a tremendous tzaddik, what a tremendous Talmid Chacham, a person who lived his life for Ahavat Yisrael, and always trying to make a way for Am Yisrael to be able to progress and do things in the right way, in a kosher way. You should be zochet to see tremendous nehama they are getting up this morning. Also, as a tremendous zechut and aliyah neshama for Yafa Leah Bat Rachel, for Linda Towel, a grandmother of Isaac Syed, mother of Vivian Hidary and Isaac's mom. She was a wonderful person who loved to learn, always had a very big smile, was not always comfortable, even in pain. She would come to the classes. I'll never forget, as long as I live, the opportunity that I had one Shabbat morning to come visit her on the way home, to pop in and say some Divrei Torah, and her face lit up like when I came in to say some Divrei Torah in the house on the way home for lunch. Her face lit up like a big movie star came in. I don't know, like Ronaldo walked in the room. And it was such a beautiful thing to see how someone's greatest wish was only to be able to learn a little bit of Torah. That was her greatest nechama in this world. She had a very, very pure and beautiful soul. It was just returned to its maker. Hashem should bless the entire family with nechama as well. They got up, not yesterday morning, the morning before. Be'ezrat Hashem, they should stand up from all sadness and only go forward in simachot and in beautiful things. My friends, I want to bring you a very interesting line. A line that has a beautiful teaching associated with it, but that teaching is often misunderstood. And let's try and understand together the power of this yesod. Please only answer amen if you're listening to this live. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol niyad baro. The pasuk says, Vayi Bshalach ha'am, Vayi Bshalach paro et ha'am. And it was when Paro sent out the nation. Ve'elo naham Elohim derech eretz Pilishtim, and God did not guide the people the way of the Philistines, the way of the Pilishtim. Ki karov hu. Why? Why didn't he take them that way? Because karov hu. It was close. That sounds like a reason to go that way, right? Rather, the pasuk says, Ki amar Elohim pen yinachemam berotam milchama v'shavu Mitzrayim. Maybe the people will see war break out. They'll see the people of that area come out with swords, with guns. I don't know, they didn't have guns. With spears, with slingshots to come do war with them. And the people will think, I don't want none of that. And they'll go back to Egypt. So therefore, if the road was close, if it was very easy to know how to get back to Egypt, maybe the people would see something they didn't want to see, and they would go back. Later on, by the way, when the Jewish people are almost by the land of Israel, they use a very interesting language. What do they say? Nitena rosh V'nashuva Misraima. Was that you, Hashem? Nitina Rosh? Let us appoint ahead and go back to Egypt. What are they pointing ahead for? Why don't they just go back to Egypt? They're so far away from Egypt, they don't know how to get back. Here says God, if I take them a straight route, ki karovu, it's so close to turn around to get back to Egypt, that if they see a war, they're going to go back. You learn from here, obvious, a beautiful lesson. We learn from here one of the greatest truisms of Judaism. And what is that? God says, if they see war, they're going to turn around. Therefore, I won't take them down this road. What's the truism I'm thinking about, Avi? That God does not give people challenges that they cannot withstand. If they would turn around and go back to Egypt, that would be their problem. Hashem took them out. You want to go back to Egypt? Fadal. No, God says, I know that this is what you're going to do. Pen yinachem ha'am. I know you're going to return to Egypt. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to take you down the easy path. Because I know the easy path for you is something you're not going to be able to withstand. Now, the problem with this is something that I feel anyone who listens to this class, not anyone, but a lot of people will immediately have what I just said. Are you joking? Hashem doesn't give people tests they can't handle? Rabbi, you know what I'm going through right now? I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't. God gave me a test. I fell apart. So how you want to tell me that God doesn't give you something you can't handle? Look at me. I'm proof I'm not handling. What is the pasuk telling us? So I want to share something that I think is very beautiful. There's an idea that is shared by Rav Elchanan Wasserman. Rav Elchanan Wasserman said that the Torah tells us when it comes to the mitzvah of Eshet Yefat Toar. What does it say over there? You have a woman that a man sees, in war, they see this woman in captivity. He thinks she's very beautiful, she's not Jewish, she's one of the nations they're going to war against. And he decides, you know something, I need to marry this woman. Halakha tells you exactly how he goes about it. He brings her, waits 30 days, she cries for her avodah zarah, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Her hair, her nails. Point is, we allow him to marry her. Why? The Gemara says, Dibra Torah neged, keneged. The Torah spoke to a person's yetzer hara. The Torah was yored lesof da'atan shel bnei adam. We knew that this guy, in this situation, he's guaranteed to make this sin. So therefore the Torah could not give him an obligation that he could not do. Says Rav Elchanan, by that logic, if the Torah did not give you a commandment, it did not give you a mitzvah that you couldn't do, what do you know? What do you learn? That every other mitzvah in the Torah, you could do. Why? Because if you couldn't, you wouldn't be obligated. My friends, if that's true about mitzvot, ma'asim tovim, averot, it's true about the path of a person. But the question is, life seems to contradict this. You have a person, they're in a situation, they get killed. Hashem gave him something he couldn't handle. Look, he died. You have a person who has a family situation falling apart. Not only did the guy, not only did he fall apart, now he's on drugs, now he's vomiting in the street. He didn't handle. So the simple answer that people try to give is, he could have handled it and he failed. I don't know that that's always the case. I think that there are cases that people can't. Barim and nan. Those who live through the Second World War. Guy lost his whole family. Watched him die with his own eyes. Leaves Judaism. You're telling me, oh, no, he really could handle it. The guy he was weak. What's the answer for someone like that? Has v'shalom to judge someone like this. So you see, they couldn't handle. I want to share something that is so powerful. I want you to imagine the following example. You have someone who hurts you deeply. They said things, they did things unbelievable. They stole from you, they cheated you, they took from you, and you feel like you have a claim against them. The guy comes to you and he says, listen, I'm asking you for forgiveness. Doesn't return the money, has not apologized, or at least not apologized in a real way. He only came to you and said, I'm asking mechila. You have to forgive him? Yes. No. How about if he comes 3 times? Do you have to forgive him? No. This idea that after you ask mechila 3 times, you don't have to ask mechila anymore. That's only when you fix the situation. You can't have the money in your pocket. What happens? Shechem comes to Yaakov Avinu. He's kidnapped Dinah. He's got her locked in his basement. He's raped Dinah, locked in the basement. Comes to Yaakov. Listen, I have a great idea. Why don't we do a nice bazra, get together, we'll do a swani, our children will marry yours, your children will marry mine, we only have the best of intention. The best of intentions? Where's my daughter? Someone's coming to ask mechila, but they've not taken the steps. You have no obligation to forgive them. 0. By the way, if you want, you can forgive the person without forgiving the money. Did you know that? People say, I don't want to forgive the guy. He owes me the money. You could forgive the person on the sin of what he did, on the thing that he did to you, without forgiving the loan. You're allowed to do that. In fact, I encourage people to do that. They don't want to forgive the loan, the guy owes you the money, no problem, keep that. But you're walking around angry at this guy, by the way, who hasn't paid you in 5 years, he's probably not going to pay you for another 5 years. And after those 5 years, we'll have this conversation again, and I'll tell you that he won't pay you for another 5 years. This money is not coming back. The guy is not honest. Or he doesn't have the courage to be able to say, I don't have the money I took from you. I always feel, you can't give the money back. Tell the person, I'm sorry, I owe you the money, I don't have it. But in this scenario where the guy said that, you have no obligation to forgive them. Sometimes, my friends, we misread what the nisayon is. The challenge here might not be for me to forgive him the money. The challenge might be to forgive him the claim. The challenge might not even be to forgive him. It might be that the challenge is to stop talking negatively about him to other people. While you have a right to not forgive the guy if he didn't give it to you back, the idea that willy-nilly you're walking around the community telling everybody that somebody did something, that he took this money, he's a ganav, who told you you're allowed to do that? Maybe the nisayon is not forgiveness. Maybe the nisayon is not forgiving the money. Maybe the nisayon is overcoming to the point where there's not hatred in your heart causing you to speak badly about him to everybody. By the way, just to review the halachot. People think, what do you mean? I have to tell everyone he's a ganav. You have to tell everyone. You got to go to Uri's, bang on the, on the vegetable stand, All the G's have to find out that this guy, they're not investing money with anybody. They're buying an heirloom tomato. I mean, you have to make an investment to buy an heirloom tomato. But you're right, that's why they call it an heirloom, right? But they don't need to know. You're in Tomer's in the back row. Someone's sitting there getting sushi from Simply Sushi in the back of Tomer's. Delicious. Guy's buying sushi. He needs to know. You're on the phone, talking out loud in the middle of a public place. Maybe that's your challenge. Not always is it cut and dried the nisayon that Hashem is giving you. So if you see that you cannot overcome, and only you will know if you're at the bottom of your own tank, Hashem's asking me for something, can't do it, I don't have it in me. Only you'll know if you tried as hard as you could or not. Only you'll know that. No one else could know that. But if you plumbed the depths, you tried your hardest, you can't get there. Didn't it say that the Torah, Hashem doesn't give you a challenge you can't pass? What you should learn from that is maybe that's not the challenge. Maybe there's another element here. Maybe I can't stop speaking Lashon Hara about him. Maybe you know what I could do? Instead of exaggerating, maybe I could say the truth about what happened. Instead of saying he stole money, you could say he took an investment from me and he didn't pay back the investment. You know, it didn't go anywhere, but at least, you know, if the money wasn't there, we lost the money in the investment, come to me and tell me that you lost money in the investment. But he never, at least to be more accurate in your Lashon Hara. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? It might be that you cannot stop speaking Lashon Hara. It might be you're an angry person and you cannot not be angry. That's not your challenge then. You know what your challenge is? Instead of getting angry 5,555 times in a day, I'm giving the hamsa to your anger, by the way. Instead of get angry 5,554 times, then that's your nisayon. But what's clear from the pasuk is, if the Jewish people were going to go back to Mitzrayim, Hashem says, I'm not even taking you down this road, because I would never take you down a road where you have no choice but to fail. My friends, I want to share something I think is very powerful. In these nisyonot, in these challenges that a person has, there's something important to see. Let's go back to the end of last week's parasha. The Jewish people are supposed to leave Egypt. And it's the Makkah of Choshech. And the Torah tells us that it was dark in the whole of the land of Egypt. But says our parasha, V'hamushim alu b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim. Literally translated, Hamushim means they were armed. The Midrash explains, what does it mean, Hamushim? Right? Hamushim does not mean armed, like the literal interpretation. The other explanation of Hamushim, Rashi says, Davar acher, Echad michamisha yaseu. Hamushim, they were, I don't know how you say, tithed is 1/10. How do you say 1/5? Quantifth? I don't even know how to say it. Pentatith? I don't even know. Nathan is giving me the no, so I'm sure none of those are correct. There is no word. Okay. If there's an English major out there, step forward. This is your moment to shine. You don't get too many. This is your moment. 1/5 of the Jews left Egypt. Why? 4/5 died in Choshech. Why? Because 4/5 of the Jews, it says, did not want to leave Mitzrayim. Now let's leave alone what percentage died. What percentage didn't want to leave. But let's just understand, there were some Jews that did not want to leave Egypt. They did not get to leave. What are you seeing here? That even the 1/5 that left, the moment there was going to be something that was too difficult for them, God says they're also going to go back. Now you understand how Egyptian culture how servitude had permeated the psyche of the Jews to such a level that even after leaving, they'd want to go back. Listen to this. Did you find the word right, Ruvain? Okay. Huh? No, but I need the TH at the end. Quintith would be the only. Okay, so it's now, there's no word like tithed. Okay. Quintithed. Okay, no such thing. My friends, what did it take to get the Jews that kind of wanted to leave, but at the first sight of a fight would go back? What did it take to get them to go? The pasuk says, "Ve'at erom ve'eria," you had no mitzvot. But how did you get out? "Va'omer lach bedamayich chayi, bedamayich chayi." What is damayich? Your blood's plural. Say, Chazal, that there were two mitzvot that God gave the Jews who did not do any mitzvot. They had no mitzvot to merit leaving. He gave them dam pesach and dam milah. With these two bloods did the Jews leave Egypt. My friends, do you know what I'm seeing here? I'm seeing a people that couldn't leave. A people that if you took them down a route where they would get frightened, they wouldn't leave. But God says, in this challenge that you can't handle, I'm going to give you something that will allow you to be able to leave. In every great challenge that we can't conquer, in every great opportunity that we can't take advantage of, in every great dream and desire that we have for ourselves, for our families in this life, oftentimes a person has no zechut kiyum. They can't get it. Not just because of fear, not just because of level, because they haven't earned it. So what does God do before He gives you something that you don't deserve and you can't handle? Hashem gives you two opportunities. And in those two opportunities, a person can become zocher to something that they do not deserve and can't handle. I love giving this example. I remember I was on a plane once. Crazy story. I get on the plane. I was bumped up to business class. I was flying a lot. I guess at the time, they bumped me out. It was maybe the only time it ever happened. I'm exhausted. I just finished a program. I was teaching the whole time. All I wanted, I now had a seat that actually lies down. All I wanted, to nam. I just want to go to sleep. That's all I wanted. I get there to the seat, I sit down. I'm already like pushing the button. Little secret, by the way. You know all the laws of air traffic that they tell you? You can't get up now, you have to have your seatbelt on, you have to put this, you can't sit over here. That's only for economy class, I discovered. In business and first class, everything seems safe. Sure, of course you can use the bathroom while we're taking off. Of course, no problem. Can I put this over here under the seat? Of course it's not a problem to have a blanket in your vicinity. Unbelievable. You pay enough, the laws don't apply. Anyway, I'm already pushing the button. This older gentleman is sitting next to me. His name was Joel. Introduced himself. Hi, I'm Joel. I'm Shlomo. Good night. Right? Where you from? What's your pet? What kind of community? What do you do? I'm like, ooh, Lee. What do I do? I'm a rabbi. What are you a rabbi of? I'm a rabbi of an organization called Chazak in London. What does it do? Oh. We work with young people that are not engaged in Judaism. We get them to connect. We do this, we do that. All right. Anyway, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm hoping that I'll go to the bathroom. By the time I get back, he'll fall asleep or something. I can't do one of these talk the whole flight situations. I'm literally, you know when your eyes are closing while you're talking? I felt terrible, but I couldn't. I go to the bathroom, I come back. Joel's still up. But he's holding out there, he holds out this. I look down, what is it? He hands me a check for $2,000. What's this? He says, I loved hearing about what you do. So now I would like to support you. All of a sudden I was up. Gives me the check, and he says, good night. And I'm thanking Hashem, Shtabach Shemo. Look, Hashem moves my seat. The one time I get upgraded, the guy gives a donation to our tzedakah. It's going to mean that you're going to be able to take a few more kids to study Torah in Eretz Israel, put on a few more lunch and learns. Amazing. Anyway, the flight lands. I'm feeling Hashem's hand. I'm feeling like Hashem could give me money in the sky, on the floor, anywhere. Hashem could take care of me like this with zero planning. I didn't make a meeting to fundraise. I didn't have to ask any, I wasn't uncomfortable. Easy. I'm getting $2,000 while lying down. We're trying to. The flight lands. I'm in the second seat from the front of the plane. As the plane lands, one guy jumps up, the guy right in front of me, jumps out of his seat, hightails it off the plane. As he runs off the plane, I look down, I see on his seat, he's left behind him a man bag. Right? I don't know if you know what those are. Man bag is a purse for a man. A merce. There we go. No, that's a fanny pack. Very different. Oh, that's a shoulder sling. No, it was one of the ones like the fancy Louis Vuitton with the strap and the item, leather. Okay. It kind of looked like non-Jews were jealous of Jews that had tefillin bags. That's what it looked like. That was what it looked like. It was like a pouch. Okay. I don't know where's Shishi will tell us what this is. Okay. Anyway. I take the bag. I'm like, hey! I don't know his name. I had enough talking to Joel. I'm not talking to the guy in front of me. Right? Hey! Doesn't answer. I don't know, have you ever left anything on the plane before? Yes. Even if you just walk right off the plane and you can see the item, you're like, it's right over, they won't let you get it back on the plane. It's illegal. Anyway, the guy leaves the plane. I'm trying to get attention, lose him. I figure, I'll catch him. I grab the bag on the way out. But by the time I got all the pieces of, the guy's out of the jetway. I run down the item, look in the hallway, I can't find him. I've got his bag. Okay, now I'm thinking this was dumb. Now I have the guy's bag. I can't find him, I'm stuck with it. Let me see if I could, do a Shabbat Avedah. I open up the side pocket. I take out, I see the guy's licenses in there. He's a Latin looking guy, his name is Jose something. Okay, that was not me being racist. That was his name. Jose something. Okay, no phone number. So I open up the main pocket of the bag. Maybe there's another piece of identification that will have a phone number. I could call him. As I open the main pocket of the bag, all I see, stacked bottom to top, $100 bills. At least $10,000 in cash. So I made $12,000 for Chazak. I'm thinking to myself, Shema Yisrael, who carries so much money in a bag, and then leaves it on the plane? I'm thinking to myself, for sure, in my mind, I'm already constructing the story here. He needs to get a kidney replacement. I don't know. He has a daughter that needs a surgery. I'm already thinking about what a hero. I saved somebody's life, renewal, fantastic, I'm looking, I get to the place where they're doing the bags. There's no one there with the bags. He's not, all of a sudden in the far end of the baggage claim, I see, where you complain about you complain that your luggage was lost or whatever. I see the guy there gesticulating madly. He's like this, he's showing the bag. And I know. So I'm running towards him. I see the guy's in a lot of pain, Sa'ar. I'm thinking about his surgery that is coming very soon, right? I'm running towards him. I'm like, Jose! He sees me. He sees the bag. We're running slow motion to each other. The music is playing, very dramatic. I give him the bag. And I said, Jose, I got nervous. I couldn't find you. I was already thinking it must be something very important. I saw you have so much money in the bag. I'm so happy to be able to return it to you, And the guy says, you don't know, you saved us. I was like, oh, Baruch Hashem. He said, what would we have done in Vegas without the cash? Give me the money back. So I was thinking to myself, what a beautiful example. Before God tests you, where you find a bunch of cash, and you have a yetzer hara, maybe I should keep it. No one will know. What does Hashem do? He hits you with something. He gives you, from a random person, a $2,000 check in the sky to tell you, if I want to give you money, I'll give you money. Who has money from the guy on the right and the guy in the front? Right? It's like, you don't need to take something from somebody else. A lot of times, before a person has a nisayon, what God will do is He'll give him something b'damayich chayi, b'damayich chayi. In my example, the word damayich doesn't only mean money, doesn't only mean blood, it also means money. In my example, I was able to maybe do the mitzvah bolstered by the fact that I saw clearly that everything comes from Him. And you know what? If I'd have taken the money and it was dishonest, you know what happened to the money? All would have gone. It all disappeared. You get a busted pipe. Chalas, it's gone. My friends, when we say lo nacham and God did not take them down that road, you know why? Maybe yinachem ha'am. God never gives you a challenge you can't handle. Never. And if you're sitting there and thinking, I've given this everything I have, and I can't do it, then you know what the answer is. The answer is, it's not your challenge to defeat it. It's your challenge to chip away. It's your challenge to do part. You can't be happy. Could you not be angry? You see? And if you feel like there's nothing that you could do, then look around. Because somewhere in the vicinity, there'll be a damayich chayi, there'll be something that will give you the koach and the zechut to be able to overcome. Look around. It might be a $2,000 check. It might be a new mitzvah of Pesach and of Brit Milah. It might be a friend that needs some help. Are you going through something you can't handle? Okay? You are? You can't? Maybe it's a piece. Take whatever you can of that challenge. You can't do that? Look around. Has an opportunity presented itself that you said no to because you were dealing with something? Maybe you're looking at it backwards. Maybe that opportunity was the key for you to be able to deal with the thing that you need help dealing with. And it is very random. It is very random. You'll be dealing with something and all of a sudden out of the blue, someone will ask you, you're thinking to yourself, I can barely take care of myself, I take care of you. You just turned away a malach. You just turned away the key that you were searching for. It presented itself. And I don't know if you've seen this. It's very odd when it happens. You're going through something, and then immediately, in the time when you're going through it, someone's coming and asking you for help with the same thing. And you're thinking to yourself, I could barely deal with my plate. I'm going to deal with yours. Didn't you find it odd that when you were struggling with your own marriage, someone came and said, I need help in my marriage to you? It never happened before. When you were struggling with money, someone came to you and said, look, I need a couple dollars. Didn't you find that odd? That has never happened with that guy before. That is Hashem offering you the keys. And the question is if you want to take them. Hashem should bless us. We should be zocheh be'ezat Hashem. To see these opportunities, to recognize that we are made for the challenge and we can do the job. And if we cannot do the job, then that's not the job. And if we can't even do the job that we've minimized the nisayon to be, then we're not looking hard enough for the opportunities that are giving us keys. Hashem should bless us, Be'ezat Hashem, to get through and past everything that we go through in this life. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.